to episode 300 of Books Unbound, the podcast where we unbind books to get to their hearts with your hosts. Us, it's Ariel and
Raylene in the house. Wow.
300 episodes.
Man, no wonder we're tired.
God.
That's
After
crazy.
this, I'm having a nap.
Oh, yeah.
I actually feel like maybe it's a really good time to reread My Year of Rest and
Oh,
Relaxation.
my gosh. After this episode,
what I
we're
want.
going to sleep for a while.
The big nap. We are so excited to be recording this episode today. This is going to be a lot of fun. We have some fun little segments that we're going to be doing that we think are just going to be a jolly old time and an opportunity for us to do something a little special and a little fresh just for episode 300. We do like to mark the years as well. So like we're at 5.5 years, basically. Well, more actually, like farther than 5.5.
We're nearing October,
almost at
sort
6. Yeah, in October we'll have our 6-year birthday or anniversary. But we also love to mark the every 100 episode. I mean, that's a milestone. 300 episodes.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I have some facts for you, really.
Ooh, okay.
I dug up some facts, some statistics.
We love that.
Here we go. We've done over 300 well, this is episode 300, so not over 300, but we've done 300 episodes. On Patreon, we've done over 250 bonus episodes.
What?
I know. I didn't realize it was that high.
Whoa.
Like, when you combine over the 6 years, Books on Bucket, Movie Tub, Media Tub, Question Vase, and YA Flashback.
Man, does anybody else remember YA
200
Flashback?
Yeah, that was awesome. That was our first bonus show that we
man.
ever did on the Patreon, where basically, like, I would remind you of an old YA book, and we would discuss it. This doesn't include, what was the other thing? When I would ask you a question, what was that called? Ariel's Book Asks or something?
Did that have a name? Was that just Books on Bucket? I think that was
Maybe
the beginning
actually,
of
yeah, that was just Books on Bucket. Okay, you're right. But anyway, over 250 bonus episodes of content on the Patreon, which is crazy because that means we've surpassed 500 episodes of recording.
That's true.
Wild.
That is wild.
Okay. Over 88 bonus videos over on the podcast, or on the Patreon, I mean. So that's reading vlogs, book hauls, like we do all these like bonus videos over on the Patreon.
88.
And on the Patreon, 3 audiobooks. You've done 2, I've done 1, and 65 live shows.
Wow. It's really crazy when you lay it all out like that.
This is going to blow your mind, okay? 1,984 Instagram posts.
Whoa. Holy
That's
moly.
crazy because that means that each of us have taken like over 800 photos that have made it to the grid.
Whoa.
That's also a beautiful opportunity to shout out Kaylee, beautiful Kaylee Hyde, who is our Instagram runner. She runs the Instagram, and thank God for Kaylee Hyde because we would not be able to do it without her.
Yeah.
And she's posted like, of those 1,900, she's posted like 1,800 of them.
Yeah.
You know, like we ran it early on, and then we were so excited to be able to work with one of our good friends who is much better at social media than we are.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, so she's amazing. That's nearly 2,000 posts. And it's just
So many more
crazy.
than I thought
It makes sense because every time we record, which has been over 300 times, we go and we take like 5 photos each.
Yeah.
So like it adds up, but
makes
like
sense.
you don't think of those are all micro decisions.
Yeah.
And finally, 4.4 million all-time listens on audio, and now over 1 million views on YouTube.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
What?
I know.
That's so cool.
It's insane.
I didn't think we would
know-
ever touch the number million ever. I didn't think
We've
that would ever be
millioned.
something I would touch in my life.
We've millioned. We have millioned in our lives.
Wow.
So, you know, all of those are fun, and it's always fun to check in about like numbers and statistics and things. And like obviously, book lovers often love statistics because you like to break down what you've read and in what quarter and how many books and how many pages and things. Like I love statistics. But obviously, the most important thing is just that we love doing this podcast, and we're so grateful to everyone that listens to it. That's what's fun about it. Like, it is fun. It would be fun if it was just you and me talking to each other. Obviously, like, I do think that's the backbone of a good show. If the two people don't actually like recording the show together, it'll never work. Yeah. We actually love recording the show together. But then on top of that, what makes it, like, truly gives it the spark is that you guys are so amazing. You guys have always been so friendly and supportive and wonderful with each other and with us. And it's just created this insanely beautiful community that, like, all of those numbers are you guys, right? Well, I guess except for the content. Like, we made the 300 episodes and the 250 bonus episodes.
But, like,
but you watched it all. Like, you've been watching it and listening and commenting and everything and sharing and stuff. So we're just super grateful to you guys, and we're happy to be able to mark the milestone. 300. Here's a morbid question for you. That just came into my mind. If you could live to be 300 years old, would you do it?
That's really scary.
Kyle can also live to be 300. You don't have to do it by yourself.
Okay. I would say yes then. I wouldn't want to be immortal forever, but 300, like, if I knew that was the end goal, I think that would be fine. Because that would give me enough time to, like, read all the books I want to read and watch all the movies I want to watch. Yeah. But I know that it will end, and it's not just like, I'm going to live forever, because that comes with its own set of problems. And I would not want that. Definitely not. And if I, like, if the idea is that I would be in, like, good health that whole time.
Yes, you'd be in good health. Totally.
Yeah. I
you wouldn't. I don't know how old you'd kind of freeze at, but you would. It would be like a normal thing. Yeah. You know, you wouldn't be.
I would do it. What about you?
Old lady. I would totally do it. Oh my God, yes. I would also live to be immortal if I could.
Whoa,
like,
that's crazy.
I get people that are like, I don't want to be immortal. I get it. I am the opposite. I want to be immortal so bad. I get like an existential cosmic sadness when I think about, like, not getting to know what's going to happen in the future. Like, I'm like, I want to know so bad. What are we going to figure out? I bet you we cure cancer. I bet you we cure everything. And I don't know. I think it'd be so fascinating. So if I could extend to 300 from my current 106, which I believe I will live to 106. That's my plan anyway, because I was born in 1994.
Oh, I see.
And so if I am 106, I will have lived in 3 different centuries.
Yeah, that's pretty badass.
I think that's going to be possible, you know? So if I could triple that, that'd be great. I'd be so down. All right. That important question aside.
Yeah, didn't know that one was coming.
We wanted to do something special for the episode. And we were doing some scheming, some brainstorming, thinking up ideas. And we thought, how fun would it be if we got Cat Dennings to tell us what to read for this episode.
Oh, yeah, man.
Cat Dennings is God, what a special gem. We are so lucky to have Cat Dennings. I feel like I have to say her whole name, you know? Like, I almost feel like there should be a title on there, Lady Cat Dennings or something.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we feel so lucky that she's listened to the pod, and it's added such a fun little sparkle to the whole thing. And a couple of years ago, or a year ago or something, she posted about the podcast.
And we freaked out.
Which is so exciting. There's going to be something very exciting that's going to happen after this as well, because I'm going to have the opportunity to right a wrong that has plagued me for over a year. You'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. But when she started listening to the podcast, or like told us about it, I asked her, what's your favorite book? I thought it'd be fun to read her favorite book. And she mentioned The True Deceiver by Tove Jansson. And we both went out and bought it and read it and loved it. It was one of my favorite books of that year. We had such a great time reading it. And so that's why when we were thinking about episode 300, we were like, hey, that would be a fun thing to do again. So I reached out to her and asked, would you maybe be down to record a clip for the old podcast? And Cat Dennings pulled through live from her bathroom. It's Cat Dennings!
Why, hello, Books Unbound listeners, and Ariel and Raylene. Congratulations on 300 episodes of this lovely, wonderful podcast that I love so much. And I've been given the great honor of recommending a book for this episode. So it gave me a little anxiety, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like Ariel and Raylene have read probably way more books than I have. Or at the very least, we share a lot of the same interests book-wise. So I don't remember seeing this on the podcast. I hope I'm right. I read this last year, absolutely loved it. It's called The Sweetness at the Bottom of the Pie by Alan Bradley. My cats have chewed it. If they see a book in my hand, they will run up and just sink their little fangies into the covers as quickly as they can, which I honestly don't mind. This is a fantastic little murder mystery set in the 1950s. It's about an 11-year-old named Flavia who has to solve a mystery. Listen, I didn't know what to expect because this is a series. You don't have to read anymore. But after I finished, I bought the rest of them, if that tells you anything. I absolutely loved this book. Couldn't put it down. So I really hope you enjoy it. And if you don't, at least you liked the other book I recommended. At least it'll even out. This is my bathroom, by the way. There's a lot of loud stuff going on in the rest of the house, so I'm hiding in here. And again, congratulations on 300 episodes. I absolutely love this podcast. I listen to it all the time, especially on my way to work. It really grounds me and makes me happy. So yeah, thank you very much. I hope you enjoy the book and see you later.
The wonderful Cat Dennings, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, Cat. That was so much fun. And I laughed and I love your bathroom. So great acoustics. Huh? So much fun. And so we both went out and got The Sweetness at the Bottom of the Pie by Alan Bradley. Now, you worked in a used bookstore, Raylene.
Oh, yes, I did.
Did this one come up a lot?
Yeah, I would say that it did. It's a pretty long series at this point that has some pretty dedicated fans. And so when I worked at the bookstore, there were still new books coming out. I'm not sure if it's finished at this point. I didn't really look into it. But yeah, it was fairly popular at the bookstore. And a lot of people told me to read it, and I never did.
And here we finally are.
And now here I am.
Another fun fact I didn't realize about it, and you actually mentioned it when we were ordering it. Canadian author.
Canadian.
Mr. Alan Bradley is a Canadian hero, it turns out. Says was born in Toronto, grew up in Cobourg. I almost moved to Cobourg once. Huh. It's a very pretty town. And then it says prior to early retirement to write in 1994, our year, he was director of television engineering at the University of Saskatchewan, which is so cool, for 25 years.
My goodness,
so,
Alan.
That's so cool. That's amazing. And then at the end, it says Alan Bradley lives in Malta with his wife and 2 calculating cats. I do find that very funny. When I was younger, I think I maybe talked about this on the podcast before. When I was younger, so in Canada, there's a thing called snowbirds. I think it might be in the northern United States as well. But a snowbird is basically an older person usually who moves to the south in the winter because it's cold and miserable here. And I used to think that was weak. When I was a little kid, I was like, oh, come on, you can't handle Canada?
That's crazy.
Now as a 30-year-old woman, I'm like, wise, very wise.
If you can do it, why not do it?
Why not? Go somewhere beautiful for the harshest 2 months or 3 months of the year and then come back. I get it. It's not for me. I love the winter. It's so cozy.
I've come to love winter.
I respect it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I do respect it. So anyway, the idea that he left and went to Malta, I'm like, good for you, Alan. Good for you.
It's also kind of funny to think of a person as being a snowbird, being like they're migrating south for the literally migrating south for the winter.
Exactly.
Like a goose.
It's such a cute term. I love that term. So this book, do you want to kind of give a synopsis, Raylene, of what it's about?
Yeah, so this follows a young girl named Flavia who is 11, and it's set in the 50s. She lives in this tiny little town in England with her family. She has 2 sisters and a dad, and her mom has passed away. She never really knew her mom. And so at the beginning of the book, she's also very curious. She loves chemistry, and she's a very curious kind of person. And she's always sneaking around, trying to listen to people's whispered conversations and stuff like that. And she discovers this strange man talking to her dad. She's peeping through the the peephole or the keyhole. And she like overhears a conversation that gives some very interesting information. And then later, that man is found dead in their garden, and she's the one who finds him. And he whispers something to her as he dies. So she's like the only person who has like this key piece of information. And then so she's kind of trying to solve the mystery throughout the book alongside the police. But she's she's doing her own thing. She's kind of running around doing her own thing and, loving chemistry the whole time.
Yeah, so she's trying to solve this murder basically before the police do. Like, she's got a real chip on her shoulder, this Flavia. She's like, I'm going to prove my worth, and I'm going to solve this before the cops do, which is really, really cute. I didn't underline it. I remember there's this one part in the book where she's on her bike, Gladys.
Oh, yeah. I know. She's kind of, I wouldn't say she's like Anne of Green Gables, but she has like that same kind of like zest of life. Anne has like
totally
she's alone a lot of the time, so she like kind of talks to herself almost and like names her items, and she's a fun little person.
I was gonna mention that as well. Like, I couldn't not think of Anne, and there was another young character that I was thinking of and now has of course completely lost. True Grit.
Oh yeah,
Maddie Ross. There's like this like kind of character of a young girl with a real like confidence, like a kind of like a surprising amount of confidence maybe for the time, like the era that you exist in, etc. But that's what makes them so like epic, right? And gives them so much personality. I couldn't find it. Like, I was flipping through, but basically she's on her bicycle and she just says, "I love myself." She just like screams it in all caps, or like, I mean, with an exclamation mark. She's like, "I don't need anyone else to love me because I love me." And I'm just like, that's beautiful. Like, that's good. That's like her personality. She is also quite antagonistic. Like, she's very sneaky and like, she's mean to her sisters. She likes pulling pranks, and like you mentioned, like, she's into chemistry, and so she's like always using kind of chemistry against her sisters, which
that made me kind of scared at the beginning. I was like, is she trying to kill her sister? I was like, what is happening right now?
She like poisons her sister's lipstick, and I'm like, what's gonna happen?
What's your plan? And then so it was cute though, because she's like, every day she's like got her little notebook and she's like, all right, no signs of anything yet. Like making little notes yet. Her experiments.
Exactly.
Yeah, she's a little shit, but she's cute.
Yes, exactly. I feel like it, because of the writing style, she doesn't really feel like she's 11. And when I was reading reviews afterwards, like, some people were like, I didn't like that she didn't feel like an actual 11-year-old. Yeah. And like, that was the thing a lot of people didn't like. A lot of people were like, I'm glad she didn't feel like an 11-year-old because it would have made this all just kind of cringe. And they're like, it really suspends your disbelief because you're just like, it's okay. She's young and she's very clever and we can just lean into it. Yeah. And I will also say it, like, her character and her dialogue and her way of thinking really makes the book very readable. Like, it's very 100%. Quick paced and fast, and like, I would sit down to read and I could quickly read through 50 pages, even though
I found this
book is a little long. It's not long. It's 370. So it's not like long, but like, it's a little bit longer than an average 300 page novel. And I would like, it didn't feel like it was super long. It was like, oh yeah, this is moving along. Yeah. I also really enjoyed the setting. I think like a quaint giant house. Like, she lives in this like manor type, almost castle, old Victorian house, which is very cool. And the library that she loves to go to is an abandoned car garage, and so it's like been reconverted into a library, so it seems really cool. And just like all the little village and the fields surrounding, like, it was a very fun place to have this kind of a cozy mystery. And when we were texting about it yesterday, really, and you were like, yeah, it's like it's a cozy mystery. And I feel like that genre has really become huge now. But like, this was published in 2009. Yeah. And I don't think it was a huge genre then. So I think that he was kind of leading the way maybe on that kind. Well, one of the people who was leading the way on that kind of thing. Yeah. So I enjoyed it. I didn't end up loving it, but I did like it. And it was fun to read something that was kind of out of my wheelhouse.
Yeah. I would say like I loved the maybe first 100 pages or so, like, because I found it to be just like lots of fun. And like you said, just totally different from what we normally read. So I was just like, I'm just leaning in. I'm like, this main character she's a little annoying, to be fair, but she's still fun to read about. And I was actually listening to the audiobook for a lot of it. And the audiobook narrator is obviously not a child, but she like reads it with this like zest that feels very true to the voice of Flavia in the book. And so that was really good. I do recommend that if anybody is curious about the audiobook. It was really fun to listen to. And I just loved the mystery because every single chapter would, give you not a lot. And you'd be kind of like, oh, wow, yeah, who is that man? Like for the longest time in the book, you don't know like the identity of this man because she's in the dark. And so if Flavia's in the dark, the reader's in the dark. You don't really get any extra information more than what she has. And yeah, I just thought it was so fun and great and exciting for sure.
Yeah. But then did it peter a little bit for you?
It petered a little. Yeah. The mystery really revolves around postage stamps quite a lot.
Yes.
Which I didn't love that
That's
aspect.
funny.
I was like, I'm kind of bored about hearing about the postage stamps. But other than that, it was pretty fun. And one thing that I also really liked was she runs around trying to solve mysteries, right? But a lot of the time she like comes up with an idea and she's so like sure that she's right and then she's not right. And it's just kind of like, it was funny to read,
Yes, you're totally right. She's like, it must be this. And then like she'll meet someone who tells you something different. She's like, huh, I guess it's not that. It must be this. And you're like,
yeah, it was
like
funny.
In that way, it was a fun character. Because I guess with I don't read a lot of mysteries.
Yeah, neither do I.
So that was cool for me, like to take another step into a new genre kind of a thing. But it's very curious with a mystery, the kind of narrator that you can have. Because you can either have, like, you have to have the person who's trying to solve the mystery.
Yes. And
they're slowly figuring out clues in a way that is similar to how the reader is figuring out clues, right? So this was a fun way to experience that. And you're right, she had to keep course correcting. Which is very satisfying because we're also learning things as it goes along. So Kat, thank you so much for recommending that book and for like, it was also especially because we just read Our Wives Under the Sea, which was a very like ambiguous. Yeah,
this was
watery,
nice and
murky book. This was just like plot and it was fun to read and it like kept on going. So this was a fun thing. I definitely would not have picked up. And I don't know if you picked a Canadian author on purpose, but that's pretty cool in my book.
And you know what was fun too is my mom actually picked this up and read it before you or I even started it.
Yeah, she beat us to it by weeks.
Because I said, as soon as we got the clip from Kat, I was like, Mom, look at this. Like, because my mom also loves Cat Dennings. And so I was like, oh, so look at this. It's so cool. And she was like, oh, I'm going to go buy that book right now. And she started reading it like the next day and finished it. And I was like, what the heck? So
that's so funny.
My mom is also on the sweetness at the bottom of the pie hype train.
That's amazing. Well, you got one more book because of Cat Dennings.
That is true. That is true. So before I stopped using Instagram, I just happened to see Cat Dennings post an Instagram story and I was like, I wonder what she's got for us today. And she was recommending a book. So it was kind of beautiful and perfect. And I ended up sending her a message because I was like, oh, wow, what is this book? Like, tell me more about this. And she kind of talked me through it and I was like, whoa, that sounds so good. And so I ended up picking it up. And that book is The Best of Everything by Rona Jaffe. So this is a nice Black Penguin classic. So I was like, ooh, what is this classic that she's got for us? And I'll just read you the little tiny blurb at the back here. It says, the insightful novel about 1950s New York City women in the workplace that paved the way for Sex and the City and Mad Men. And this is the 65th anniversary edition. So it did come out in the 50s. Okay. And that's all I really know. And I was like, that's like, say less. That sounds so good. We love a workplace novel. I love a historical setting. It's very like Valley of the Dolls, but a different type of setting. It's like an office setting rather than like an entertainment Hollywood type of setting. And I had never heard of it. And she loved it. Like she was like, it's like almost 500 pages long. And she was like, despite the length, like this will keep you reading. You will not want to put it down. And I'm always looking for another juicy classic. So I grabbed it. So thank you, Kat, for recommending this book.
Amazing. Oh, that's so cool. All right. It is now time to right or wrong. I am so excited. I am so excited. Can you tell? I'm like actually so
She's
jazzed.
screaming, guys.
let me tell you what happened. Years ago, whenever the inciting incident happened, like a year ago or whatever, Cat Dennings posted this book on her Instagram stories. The Kamogawa Food Detectives by Hisashi Kashiwai. This was a book that I had hauled on the podcast. Cat Dennings heard me haul it or saw it. I don't know if she watches the video or listens. And we don't track data. Whatever way she listened to it is all right by us. Okay, so she posted this book and she was like, just heard about this one on Books Unbound kind of vibes and picked it up. And I was like kind of scared. I was excited, but I was kind of scared because I hadn't actually read it.
Yeah.
She then read it and she didn't really like it. which like, that's my nightmare. Like, that's my nightmare no matter who it is, let alone Lady Cat Dennings. I mean, oh my God. Hold on, let me pull up the message. She said, listen.
Oh no.
I didn't think that book was bad at all, but I admit I didn't finish it. But it was a good recommendation based on how cute the cover was and the idea of the book.
Oh my gosh.
That is the nicest, kindest way of saying it was not a good recommendation.
Oh my gosh. Do you want to know something? I didn't know that was the full story. I thought that you just read it and then you didn't like it. And that was where the drama came from.
Yes, I then read it. You're right. I then read it and I didn't like it. And I was like, I would never have recommended this book.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that happens to you, right? You're excited about a book. Maybe you just bought it. Maybe you just hauled it. Maybe you just heard of it and you tell someone all about it. Or someone's like, I'm looking for a pirate book. And you're like, have you heard of this one? I haven't read that, but I've heard it's great. And then you read it. And you would never have recommended it. You're like, wait, I don't actually like that book.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. And then I found out Kat didn't even like it. And I was like,
It's so much worse than I ever thought.
It's so much worse. It's horrible. It's in fact horrible. So this led me to coin the term the Cat Dennings effect. We have a glossary on our website with all of the wacky terms, but useful terms that we have thought up over the years in discussing books. The Cat Dennings effect is as follows. Named after the gorgeous and talented actress Cat Dennings. This is the experience had by a reader where she recommends a book she has not read, brackets, either directly or indirectly, perhaps through a hunch based on secondhand accounts or through an enthusiastic hauling of a book. And then someone reads that book, for example, Cat Dennings, followed by the reader finally reading the book herself and realizing she would not have actually recommended the book had she actually read it. This leads to feelings of regret that you blew your chance to recommend a true favorite to someone really cool.
Damn.
I think we've all been there.
Yeah. Huh? Hasn't that happened to everyone?
And so what we're going to do right now is we're going to recommend books to Cat Dennings. Books that we actually really like, books that we have read, books with massive stamps of approval from us, books we can stand proud behind. Damn it. And maybe I'll start us off, Raylene.
Okay.
So I'm so excited about all the books I've pulled here. I've got a bunch of different reasons why, but I think I'll just start with the most direct one, which is instead of the Kamogawa Food Detectives. Like, if I was recommending a Japanese translated book that has some cozy vibes or is like in some way interesting or kind of special because this one has a little bit of a sci-fi element, like what would I have recommended instead? And I know that we were only going to try and do one for each of these categories. I couldn't help it. I have three. Okay, I have three right here.
Ooh.
The first one is Convenience Store Woman, because when people are starting to read Japanese fiction, this is the one I want them to read. This is so fascinating and strange. And because Cat Dennings, the other reason was because Cat Dennings like told us that her favorite book is The True Deceiver. It's kind of dark and it follows like a very, very solitary main character. I was like, I think you would like Convenience Store Woman. And it's funny because these books are very different in like, this one is so dark and moody. It's like all set at night and so much snow coverage. Yeah. And this one is like under the bright fluorescence of a convenience store in a hyper civilized like place, right? But I just think that there's themes here that anyone would really like. Then Diary of a Void, because this one has that kind of there's like a magical realism thing that you don't know what's going to happen at the end. And it's growing and building in this way because basically a woman at the beginning of the book lies and says she's pregnant when she's not. But you're like, okay, well, she only has 9 months to figure out what she's going to do about this. But the lie is growing and growing and growing. And you're like, is this going to be a magical realism thing where suddenly she just is pregnant, like immaculate conception? Yeah. Or is this going to be a situation where she's going to have to like lie and steal a baby? Every time she looks at a baby in this, I'm like, she's going to steal that baby. It's so good. And then the other one that's more on the cozy side that I liked way more than the Kamigawa Food Detectives was Days at the Murasaki Bookshop by Satoshi Yagisawa. I forgot to say the translators. This one's translated by Eric Ozawa. This one's which one is Diary of a Void is translated by one of the ones we know? Yeah, David Boyd and Lucy North. That's interesting. And Kavinia's Sorewoman, is this one Ginny? Yes. Ginny Tapley Takamori.
Yeah.
And the Kamigawa Food Detectives is Jesse Kirkwood. I haven't heard of that translated before. Anyways, those are the Japanese books I would recommend to Cat Dennings, not the Kamigawa Food Detectives. I know Cat has really beautiful cats that eat her books. And I'm like, I couldn't think of, I was like, I'm not going to recommend a subpar cat book. I didn't have a good actual cat one, but that's that, Raylene. You go next.
Okay. So we might have different kind of categories of recommendations because I've been thinking about things in a specific way. Of
course.
I did want to recommend a cat book. I obviously have a ton of cat books.
I was hoping you would.
Yeah. And like there's a ton that I could recommend. There are some that I have talked about on the podcast a lot, like the Traveling Cat Chronicles, If Cats Disappeared from the World. So I wanted to try and give a slightly different recommendation, one that I haven't hyped up as much. And that is Catboy by Benji Nate, which is actually a graphic novel. I don't know if Cat likes graphic novels, but I think if you want to try one, this is a great place to start. This is basically about a young girl who has a cat, and one day she wakes up and her cat is like anthropomorphic, like becomes the same size as her and is like a friend that can talk to her. And so awesome. It's a little bit strange. It's definitely strange. I guess it has a kind of magical realism thing going that you were talking about. But it's just like really lovely, and like her cat is just so cute, and the way they interact is just so lovely. And I feel like anybody who's a cat lover should definitely read this because like the art is really beautiful. Her cat gets really into fashion. Like he really is like, can you like, he's like wearing her dresses and stuff. Like it's just very wholesome and cute. And I absolutely love that. So I wanted to recommend that.
That's awesome.
But I also have a Japanese recommendation that I wanted to give as well.
Oh, yeah.
And that is Lonely Castle in the Mirror by Mizuki Tsujimura. This one I kind of wanted to recommend to Kat for a couple of reasons. One, because I wanted to recommend her a Japanese book that I really enjoyed. This one also has a magical realism element, so making all these connections here that I hadn't originally planned. But I also wanted to recommend something with a young main character to kind of backpack off of the sweetness at the bottom of the pie thing. So
amazing.
Yes, so this book is about a young girl who is no longer going to school because she's being bullied, and so she stops going to school completely. And one day her mirror in her bedroom starts glowing, and she's like, whoa, what's going on? And she finds out she can go through it, and she ends up going through it to this magical castle where there's a few other kids who are in similar situations to her. They all show up here, and this is like the one place where they have friends, where like they feel accepted, they feel good. And there's like a weird quest that's going on in there. There's like this little girl who's like, all right, if you guys can all find these keys, something will happen. And so it's like an adventure story. It's kind of fairy tale-esque. It's also kind of sad, but it's also beautiful. It's like all the things. So I feel like this is one that Kat might enjoy.
That's awesome. Okay, well, since you recommended a graphic novel, I have one here as well.
Okay.
And this is a very specific, for a very specific reason.
Okay.
I believe the first movie I ever saw Cat Dennings in was Raise Your Voice, starring the incredibly talented Hilary Duff.
Wow. Yeah.
Did you see Raise Your Voice?
It's been forever. So like I don't even remember anything about it.
Yeah, that is a deep cut. That was not like that teen movie, even though like Hilary Duff and Cat Dennings and other people were in it, didn't blow up as much as other ones.
Yeah.
I then also found out, like, because I rewatched it a couple of years ago, it has an interesting and slightly bizarre Christian lean on it. Like something Christians going on, like a church funded that movie or something. That's just an interesting aside. I think that's the first movie I ever saw her, though, in. And do you remember she plays the piano in that movie?
No, I really don't remember anything about this movie.
She plays this amazing, like, emo character who I remember very distinctly wears this amazing black dress that, like, is, like, burned into my brain as, like, one of the coolest characters ever. Anyway, she plays the piano in that movie. And I don't know if Cat Dennings plays the piano in real life, but she plays the piano in that movie. And I was like, first movie I ever saw her in, piano. I'm recommending Ballad for Sophie.
Yeah, baby.
Okay. Philip Mello and Juan Cavia. I've obviously talked about this book. Well, maybe too much. Maybe you're all burnt out from hearing about this one. But I actually feel like I haven't talked about it in a while. So I was like, I'm bringing it back. This is probably my favorite graphic novel of all time. And I read a lot of graphic novels. So that's like saying something. I think the artwork in this book is so stunning that it's like, it's actually changed my bar for graphic novels. Like when I look at graphic novels, I'm like, yeah, but they did that. Like
this is possible. Come on.
You could have done that. Yeah. Like it's so unbelievably beautiful and it feels like every single page is a masterpiece. But the story is also really interesting and fun and very like nostalgic and melancholic, and it's basically about this woman who goes to interview this famous pianist, and he's going over this big fight that happened between him and another pianist, and they're like going over it. But it's so beautiful. Oh god, the art is so stunning. I really need to reread it, but the color palette, the story, the themes, it's beautiful. I really like this one. And I know when you read it, you didn't love it as much as I did, but you still really liked it.
It was a solid 4 stars for me, for sure.
Yeah, so it has both of our stamps of approval on it, which is really fun.
Absolutely.
Okay, what do you have next?
Okay, next, I would be remiss if I didn't recommend this book. I already recommended it to Kat directly, but I'm going to recommend it again here. And that is Valley of the Dolls by Jacqueline Suzanne. Because, yeah, like I said, when she recommended The Best of Everything, we kind of had a conversation where I was like, well, have you read Valley of the Dolls? And she's like, no. She's like, I've heard that it's great. She's also said, like, a lot of people say that The Best of Everything is better. So I'm kind of like, I want to like challenge Kat to read this and be like, let me know which one is better. Because this is kind of a similar situation. It's about, it focuses on 3 women in the 60s who are all kind of trying to break into the entertainment game. And then it's, as the book goes on, things get kind of dark at times, like as they get deeper and deeper into it. There's drugs are involved. It's a whole thing. So it's definitely not like a light, fun read throughout the whole thing, but it's very good. I really enjoyed this, and I read it last summer. Highly recommend reading it in the summer. So now is everyone's time. Go read that.
All right, next up, like you had done picking a book with a young main character, I also did that to kind of match the sweetness at the bottom of the pie. And I already mentioned this book, but I will talk about this book anytime. It is True Grit by Charles Portis. I read this on such a random whim, and I think that was awesome because I really didn't go into it with any expectations whatsoever. I basically found it on my audiobook on the library app when I was like, what audiobooks are available now? Like, which books do I not have to wait for? Yeah. And this one was available now, read by Donna Tartt.
Yeah, that's true. I always forget about that.
I was like, what are we talking about? Okay, I'm gonna give that a shot, obviously. And I start listening to it, and I am like instantly so into it. I think Donna Tartt is from the South, but she puts on an even heavier Southern American accent, and it's so exciting, like this cowboy Donna Tartt reading this book. And I really recommend the audiobook for sure. But I also just really love this book. Like, it was so exciting. I love a revenge plot. Like, a revenge plot to me is so satisfying. And I'm not saying that in real life I think there should be like revenge plots or whatever, but I'm just saying in movies and in books, I really enjoy them. Yeah. I like The Count of Monte Cristo. That to me is like the most satisfying. You know, when you see someone at the very beginning of a movie or a story be wronged and you're like, they are going to spend this novel getting back at you. Like, that's so fun. How are they going to do it? How are they going to orchestrate it? What's going to get in their way? Who's going to help them? Like, those kinds of questions are so much fun. So this is about Maddie Ross, who, I'm trying to remember how old she is.
14.
14, it says. And her father is shot down dead by this guy. And so she wants to go and capture this man and bring him to justice. But obviously, she's a 14-year-old girl, so she needs help. And she teams up with some other cowboys, and they head out to catch this guy. And it's just like a beautiful, epic tragedy. It's awesome. Oh, God, I want to reread it. It's so, so cool. And this really, like, kicked me off on a whole Westerns thing for a while, which was really fun.
That is true. Well. That is true. Well, that was a great next thing for you to recommend, because I have another book about a young main character that is one of my all-time favorite books that I don't talk about nearly enough on the podcast. Ooh, I know what it's going to be. You know what it's going to be. It's a different kind of vibe for a young main character, but it's Room by Emma Donoghue. Mm-hmm. This is about a 5-year-old boy who was born in a shed, basically. His mom was kidnapped when she was a teenager, and she was forced to have this child, and so he has never known anything. This is his whole world, is his mom and this room. And it's very haunting, very scary, very sad, but the story ultimately does have a happy ending, so it's like you don't need to be scared the whole time. But I absolutely love this book. Every time I read it, it just draws me in, and like the writing style is kind of strange because you're reading from the perspective of a 5-year-old who has no education. Right. And so the way he talks is very weird, and it's just fascinating though. It's such a fascinating book, and you will fall in love with that little boy, and it's sort of like a thriller in some ways. Like it's like kind of a mystery thriller. So it kind of fits that sweetness at the bottom of the pie vibe again. Yeah. But yeah, I love this book so much. Like, I would say top 5 favorites. So I just wanted to shout about it for a little bit because I love it so much and I want more people to read it. Also, Canadian author.
Yes, I was going to say Canadian author. When was the last time that you reread that book?
Like a couple of years ago. It hasn't been a super long time, but I am itching to reread it. And thinking about, like, when I was putting the stack together, I was like, Room is going to have to be reread soon.
Yeah. I have a very distinct memory of that book, of borrowing the this is how
I already know what you're gonna say, because I have this memory of you too.
But this is like an example of how quickly the audiobook landscape has changed. It is now so easy to get your hands on any audiobook. Like, you can just find it on the library app for free, or use Libro FM or any of these other great resources to find audiobooks. I borrowed Room from my library, and it was like its own MP3 player.
Yep.
It was an MP3 player that its sole purpose was to play Room by Emma Donoghue.
I know.
And awesome. It came in like a thick, like kind of like a DVD case. Mm-hmm. You know, and so you'd like open this like cartridge thing and then take out the MP3 player that had a lanyard. And then, did you ever listen to any of these?
I did. I remember taking them to the gym with me at one point when I was like 20. I was like, all right, I've got my little audiobook plug in my headphones. It's crazy.
My custom MP3 player. What happened to all those MP3 players? Where are they now?
Where are they at? I'm sure the library still has some of them.
That's so fascinating. So, and then you'd like plug in your own headphones, and then you could like play, pause, rewind, whatever. But like, that's such a funny image. Anyway, I distinctly remember walking my dog, Eddie. This was when he was very young, and we didn't have Doug yet.
Oh, wow.
This was pre-Doug time, but it was just me and Eddie on a walk, rural Ontario. I'm listening to my library MP3 player version of Room. And I break down crying. I'm just crying on the side of the road because this book is so emotional. Mm-hmm. So that was like a very distinct memory.
I think about that. Every time I think about that book, I imagine you crying on the side of the road with your little MP3 player. I truly do. Because you told me about it when it happened. I was like,
I know. It's so distinct to me.
Yeah.
All right. What do you have next?
Okay. My final one is another murder mystery, because the sweetness at the bottom of the pie inspired me, and it's also by a Japanese author, and it's become a new favorite of mine, and that is the Decagon House Murders by Yukito Ayetsuji. So I read this a few months ago. It was just earlier this year, and it kind of sent me on a spiral of wanting to read every single Japanese murder mystery that has ever existed, because I just had so much fun with this. This one is inspired by And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie, so it has a very similar vibe, very similar situation. You've got a group of a bunch of people who go to an island, but they go there specifically because there was a murder that happened at this weird house. So there's like this house that's shaped like a decagon, so it's got 10 sides. It's very strange, and something terrible happened there. So these people go because they want to try and solve the mystery of what happened, because nobody ever solved it, basically. And they're all in this club at school called the Mystery Club. So they're all very smart, and they've read a lot of like mystery books and seen a lot of movies. And so it's all of them just feel very, very clever. And so it's like, whoa, what is going to happen? But then they start getting picked off one by one, just like in And Then There Were None. So it's like, it's this crazy locked room mystery, and it's so fascinating and fun. Cool. But in a way, it's kind of cozy-ish too, because it feels like an Agatha Christie book. It's like not super dark. So I feel like it's a good kind of entry point for murder mystery readers as well.
Oh, that's perfect. Well, my final recommendation is just like an honorable mention.
Okay.
Because we don't know if Cat Dennings likes graphic novels, and this one is actually just a children's book. But this to me has the closest possible vibes of any book to The True Deceiver. Like, they exist in the same universe to me. It is The Skull by John Klassen. It's got this beautiful, gothic, spooky vibe going on that I can't say too much about because it's a very, very short book, so I would spoil the entire thing. But basically, a little girl, so that was another connection that to all the other books we're talking about. A little girl finds a skull in the forest, and they go on like a little adventure. And it's spooky and gothic and kind of scary and very snowy and dark. And I just think the vibes are so immaculate, and also Canadian author.
That's fantastic. I thought you were going to say Moomins.
I know. I was like, I really wanted to do the Moomins, but I was like, Cat Dennings knows about the Moomins.
We all know about
she knows.
Moomins. We know about
She knows about the Moomins. Cat, hopefully, if you heard this episode, you'll check out one of these books, but there's no pressure. This was just a fun way for us to go over and like check out some fun books, and really it was for me, okay? I needed to right that wrong. Now I feel that my soul is cleansed and I can move on psychologically from that trauma.
I'm really glad. Also, we haven't recommended books in a while, so that felt kind of like looking back on, the early episodes back when we used to do that.
Where we came from.
Yeah.
All right, so next up on this special episode, what we usually do for episodes like this, like for anniversary episodes or milestone episodes, is we send each other a book or something else. And we thought about this and we discussed it. And we had this idea for a while of sending a book to each other that had 300 pages exactly, because we've done 300 episodes. I thought this was such an awesome idea, but it turns out it's incredibly difficult to find if a book actually has 300 pages. I think you'd have to obviously do it in person, because often it'll be like on the publisher's website, it says 300 pages. And then on like a different platform, it says 304. And then you flip it open and it's actually 308. And you're like, oh, this isn't even real.
Yeah.
Also, you obviously can't filter by pages on a publishing website or something. So that turned out to be way too challenging.
Yeah.
So when we were thinking about it, and I was like, you know what, Raylene? What if we just get to buy ourselves some books, huh? We've actually never done that as one of these. I don't think.
Yeah, which is nice, because we know exactly what we want, you know?
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
It's more true.
So we both went out and bought ourselves some books on Books Unbound's dime as a celebration of these 300 episodes. So how about you start us off, Raylene, and let us know what you picked out. What were your books?
So my books are simultaneously like I got two books because we had a certain budget that we wanted to stay within, and I was like, I would like to hit it exactly if possible. Like if I can get two books that perfectly add up to that budget, I will do it. And so I was kind of looking around and I was like, what's like a book that's slightly expensive that I might not have bought for myself normally that I've been wanting? And so what I ended up going for is Uncanny, The Origins of Fear by Junji Ito. And Junji Ito is a very famous horror manga artist. He writes a lot of horror manga books, and I have read a few and really enjoyed them. I've read Uzumaki, I've read Tomi, and he's just great. This is like a memoir of his. So this one, it still has a ton of photos, but it's him writing about how he got into horror manga and like why he loves it so much, and like his thoughts on fear and horror and all of that stuff. And it's just so fascinating. Oh, look, it's got Tomi on the back. She's so spooky. But yeah, I've been wanting to get this for a while, but I kept not buying it because it's a little expensive. And I finally was like, this is my moment to get it. And I love horror. I love manga. I love Junji Ito. So I was like, this is just perfect. The next book I got, of course, now I was looking for something that was a fairly cheap book. I was like, what am I going to find that's like around $12? So I started just browsing. I was browsing online like, what should I find? And I found the cutest little book ever. And that is The Little Frog's Guide to Self-Care by Mabel Ikwe. And it's the cutest book of all time. The cover has this little frog who has like a mushroom top on her head, and she's wearing like thigh-high boots doing the splits, and she looks so happy. So I actually ended up reading this the same day I got it, because it's just like a bunch of little like affirmations and like cute little self-care things, and on every single page she's like wearing a different pair of shoes. Like she's a very fashionable little frog, and she's so cute. That's so funny. And this is just forever gonna live, like, probably in my bathroom, honestly, because I feel like this is a fun thing to have for people to read while they're visiting. And it is just so lovely and jolly and happy, and will actually be a good, like, little sidekick when I need a little boost, you know, a little bit of self-care boost. And so I thought this was a really funny pairing to get, like, a horror manga and,
very funny
and a froggy ass, like, inspiration book. So
also just in size, they're very different.
They're very, very different. The frog book is teeny tiny. It's very small. But yeah, I think that this frog is like very famous online, but I had never seen her before. I just saw her on this book. But you could probably look her up. The Little Frog.
Can you read us a frog affirmation?
Oh, absolutely. So let me try and find. There's a section that's just nice affirmations. Oh, this one's really good, actually. I showed you this page already. It's got two frogs walking side by side with their matching boots, and it says, I am going to treat myself the way I would treat my best friend. That's a good one. That's a good reminder. Would you say that to your friend? With the thing you're saying to yourself, would you say that to your best friend? God, it's a good one.
It's so true. I remember when I heard that for the first time, when it was like, treat yourself the way you treat your friends. I'm like, what? But I treat my friends so well.
How am I going to do that?
Okay, that's awesome. I love those choices. I picked these two books out because I felt like they were very podcast specific.
Okay, I love that.
So the first one I'd actually ordered before we decided to do this, but then I was like, and so I have mentioned it on the podcast actually, but I thought I'll pay for it with our little budget, our discretionary fund here. And it is Small Bodies of Water by Nina Minya Powles. Ooh. So this is a book I would not have known about if it wasn't for the podcast, which feels like a fun reason to get it for episode 300. Because you guys, obviously we recommend you guys books all the time, but you guys recommend us books also all of the time. And sometimes we find books because of you guys. And basically, I forget who recommended it to me. A couple of people did actually, but people were like, it's a mixed race writer who loves to swim. I was like, gotcha. I'm gonna need that book. Yeah. That's for old Ariel. It sounds so good and it's very pretty, and I thought, I'm going for it.
That's perfect.
This is a perfect little book. So we'll see how I feel about it. It's quite short, which is exciting. It's 250 pages, so it shouldn't be that long of a read. And yeah, it says Nina Minya Powles first learned to swim in Borneo, where her mother was born, and her grandfather studied freshwater fish. And I've got my new fish shirt on. I got this at the thrift store yesterday, you guys, for $3.
Crazy.
Shirt of the summer. There, the local swimming pool became her first body of water, and it goes from there. So this sounds right up my alley. The second book I got blew through our budget. I was like, that's fine. I'm so excited to have Clyde Fans, the entirety of it by Seth.
Heck yeah.
So if you will all recall, a couple of weeks ago, I hauled Clyde Fans book 1 by Seth, and I was very lovingly gifted it by a bookseller because it was like on sale for $5 in their used section, first of all. But secondly, I was like, I don't think I'm going to buy that because he had explained to me that they never published book 2. And it turns out that this is 4 books. So I think they were supposed to do 4 volumes.
That's so
They only
crazy.
ever published the first volume. And then instead of publishing the second volume, they then published this massive bind up of all of them. And so I was like, I don't think I'll buy that one because like I'd have to buy it again anyways when I buy this whole thing. And he was like, you know, you're totally right. Just take it. Use it as a sampler. And so I did. I started to read it. I read the first, I don't know, a couple of dozen pages, and it's so good. And I was like, I'm in. I want this thing. So then when I was thinking about what would be a fun book to get for episode 300, I was like, I'm going in for the big old
Justice for Clyde
fans. Other books by Seth. It's a good life if you don't weaken. So true. As we all know, that's a big book for old Ariel. Seth is also Canadian. He's from Guelph, which is really funny to me because I did my undergrad in Guelph. That city to me is has such a very specific thing in my head because I lived there during like just my undergrad.
Oh, yeah.
No other time. Never went there really. No, I don't think I ever went there before, and I didn't go there after. So it's like a very specific thing in my head, and it's that, like it's my undergrad, and Seth.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's Guelph.
That's Guelph for you.
That's Guelph for you. So I got these 2. I'm very excited about both of them.
Those
I think
are great.
they'll be.
I love that we
and they
both got like an expensive graphic novel and then something else that just called to us.
A little thing. Yeah, very podcasty related. So that's really good. Thank you to all of you in a way. All right, we're going to finish this episode off with a visit to the mailroom. All right, so these comments are sourced from our Discord this time because an hour or so before recording, I thought, you know what would be really fun for the mailroom? If we just told people we're recording episode 300 and if they wanted to send in a cute little note or something.
Aw.
And boy, did you guys deliver. I mean, you're still delivering. My phone
still
keeps buzzing.
happening,
I had to put it on Do Not Disturb. Because you guys are pouring in with these beautiful messages, and I picked out a big handful of them.
Nice.
That I'm going to read to you. And I think, Raylene, you haven't read these yet. So
yeah,
I'm excited to share these with you from our beautiful listeners.
Okay.
The first one is from JJ. Even after doing a degree in English and working on a degree in publishing, the podcast is the only place I really feel like I have a community of like-minded people who love books as much as I do that I can talk to, even after trying many other book podcasts and joining different book clubs. I thought that was so sweet. And I really related to it as well because, you know, like I've done 2 degrees in English and this is where I feel most at home with books. Like this community has like fueled so much important thinking with books for me. So I just really related to that comment. Phoebe says, you guys feel like my bookish sisters and you should be so proud of the community you've created in us. Lots of love. I thought that was so cute. We're sisters. We're like people's big sisters. Multiple
really
people
nice.
were saying that. They were like, you're like our big sisters.
Yeah, I did a quick
and
scroll
like,
through and I actually saw that a few times. So that's really like heartwarming that people feel that way. Because I don't have any sisters, so it feels cool to have to be someone else's sister.
Lizzie says, I started listening to the podcast in March 2020 while gardening during lockdown. So now I somewhat associate listening to you both with pulling up Ivy, but in the best way possible. I've been a fan of you both since the original BookTube days in 2013, and I've loved every second of it. Thank you, and congratulations on 300. That's so cool. I have that with so many podcasts or like audiobooks where like I start to listen to it and the audio of it instantly reminds me of an old thing. So I love that we are forever intrinsically linked with this Ivy project.
That's really cool, actually. I like that a lot.
Anna Louisa says, if this podcast was a work of literature and each podcast episode was a page, the last Celebration 200, it would have been considered a novella. And now it can be thought of as a proper novel. Whoa. Congratulations on your 300th episode. That's so cool.
That is really cool. Whoa.
Isn't that? I thought that was so sick.
Gosh. Wow.
Okay, this is from Rhoda. Ariel and Raylene, thanks so much for this podcast. I started listening after grad school when my reading had dwindled because I'd been so busy and exhausted. The show really helped me get back into reading again, and I couldn't be more grateful. How lucky are we all to have a vehicle for joy and good vibes come our way so consistently. Thank you, happy 300, and I hope you rest well. Thank you so much for that comment, Rhoda. We hear so often that like we help people get back into reading, or like they haven't been reading in a long time and like they picked up one of the books we mentioned. That's got to be the most beautiful thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, seriously.
Right? Like, because I'm like, actually, like, I sometimes go on an existential fear of like how little people read in today's society. I understand that we're in a shifting time and people read online and et cetera, but even though it feels like in some ways reading is growing, it's also massively shrinking and most people don't read. So that always scares me. And so then when we get comments that are like, you got me back into reading, I'm like, oh, God,
that's amazing.
All right, I have two more. This next one is from Kira, who I really wanted to pull this one because Kira is like one of our longtime followers and supporters. Kira says, I can't believe it's been 300 episodes. I've been with you guys since practically the start, and over the years, you have seen me through so many big moments and life changes. Being a few years younger than you, I feel like you're big sisters I can turn to and watch experience life just a few steps ahead of me. Your long-distance friendship is inspiring, and you have given me so many wonderful book recommendations over the years. Thank you for 300 episodes and a countless amount of bonus content. So grateful to have been a dust jacket for so long.
That's thanks, Kira.
Gorgeous. Final comment from Jules. Darth Bibliophiles says, I can't believe it's episode 300 already. There was a real feeling of that in the comments as well. I agree. One of my fave podcast related memories is that my partner knows how much I love the podcast. We went book shopping and he wanted to convince me to buy a certain book, but I was unsure. He then proceeded to talk very loudly and with a more high-pitched voice. Hi, my name is Ariel, and the podcast Books Unbound, and I love this book so much. It's my favorite, and you have to read it. Then he looked at me and in his normal voice said, I know you want to read it now.
I love that. That's so unhinged.
Everyone at the store stared at him. My other fave thing is definitely the book tattoo I got that Ariel designed, which I forget that happened.
That's actually crazy.
So insane. That's so cool. But anyway, I love the idea that like we obviously know of all the listeners we have, but all the partners who are also listening to us.
It's so
like,
true.
Because we're on in the other room or whatever. And the idea that like this partner was like, I know it'll convince you to buy this book if I pretend to be Ariel and Raylene.
Oh, that's so funny. I wanted to say too, from looking through the Discord, I saw a bunch of photos that people have put in as well. Like a lot of, like you said, we've kind of created this really cool community. Like that wasn't what we set out to do, but it happened, and it's awesome that that has now happened. But so many of you guys have like become real friends and have like met up in real life, and it just like really warms my heart because that's the same thing that happened to you and me, you know, like it's the same journey we went on.
You're so right. Actually, I didn't think about that. Like we met online because we were both book fans and we were making YouTube videos and we're just being bookish online. So you're right. It's so amazing to think we've maybe helped part of creating a space like that.
It's cool. It's like another wave of friendship, the wave that keeps on giving.
Damn. That's so cool. Well, everyone, that brings us to the end of episode 300. What's next for us? A lot of things, actually. Episode 301, where we're excited to do that. We'll be back to normal. We'll be recording a big reading update and things for you. But before I go, I have a couple of notes. First of all, at the beginning, I thanked Kaylee Hyde so much, which we're so grateful to Kaylee for being a big part of this podcast as well. I forgot to thank my brother, though. And we should, because he edits all of this, and it's so much work. If anyone who edits video knows, especially video this long, these episodes are always like an hour and a half, and they're big things. So we're so grateful to CJ for uploading and all of the things he does. He does a lot of the things for the podcast. So thank you so much to my baby brother. And next up, I want to talk about some changes that are happening to the podcast and to the Patreon. We're just mentioning these. We talked about them last week, so I won't go into detail. But basically, we are taking August off. So if you're like, where the hell are they? We're away. I'm getting married. Raylene's coming. We're doing things. So we're pausing everything for a month, and then we'll be back in September with all sorts of fun stuff. So that's exciting. And we're also changing a bunch of things up on the Patreon. So if you're interested in what those changes are because you're a patron, you can check that out. In the description, we will link to that blog post that's on the Patreon that's open to everyone so everyone can read it. And there we have it. That's everything, right, Ray?
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, we did it. So now we're going to go and record the media tub, right?
Yeah.
Thank God, because that's what I prepared for.
I kind of forgot, but yeah, I'm ready.
We're going to go record the media tub where we talk about the movies, the shows, the music, the YouTube videos, the video games, the podcasts, all the media we have been consuming over the last month. If you want to hear that, you can check it out on our Patreon. We do an episode of that every single month. Thank you so much to everyone for being here for the last 300 episodes of this show. And we'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.